This is Morten Storm in 2005, the Danish extremist protesting outside the US Embassy in London. This is his image 8 years later pinned on a wall, target practice for extremists who want to kill him for betraying al-Qaeda.
If I made a mistake, talking sleep or anything, if it was people, I would have been exposed and I would ended up being crucified.
Morten Storm's account of 7 years undercover for Western intelligence inside al-Qaeda makes terrifying reading. He says Danish intelligence, MI5, MI6 and the CIA were all happy to use his contacts with terrorists at the highest level, especially in Yemen, where he was a trusted contact of this man, Anwar al-Awlaki, once considered one of the most dangerous terrorists in the world.
We had people from Mexico, we had people from America, we had people from Britain. When he came out from prison, that's where we became friends.
In his first UK TV interview, he started by telling me about his early troubled childhood in Denmark, spells in prison, gangs and Islam.
There was violence in your life, there was conflict. Talk to me about that if you would.
Well, I can say that I was, as many kids have been neglected by the parents. I was kicked out from 5 schools when I was young, so I couldn't sit still. But you know what? I went into this library, picked up the biography of Prophet Muhammad, read the whole book in one day, which is something I never done before. And it just totally caught me. I was so convinced from the moment. I was such a different person from the time I entered the library and then from the time when I left.
While praying at Regent's Park Mosque in London, he met a man who offered him help to travel to Yemen to study a fundamentalist version of Islam.
I returned from Yemen with more hatred in me. You thought that you were the chosen one, that you acted, everyone else was wrong.
In Luton and London, he became a supporter of the radical preacher Omar Bakri Mohammed, who's excluded from Britain but who's never been convicted. He started attending his meetings. Fired up about injustices in the Muslim world, he saw it as his duty to defend Muslim lands, jihad.
Bakri is known to talk with 2 tongues, he's two-faced, and I was shocked when I later discovered how he had this personality splits.
So he would have the public face, but privately would he say that jihad was permissible inside the UK?
Yes, he did. Yes,
he would say that?
Yes, he did. His fatwas had made young people commit terrorism within Europe and outside of Europe.
In 2006, Morten Storm had hoped to travel to Somalia to help fight for an Islamic State. But when he couldn't go, it undermined his faith that his jihad was ordained by God. He had a crisis of faith.
Because I said goodbye to my family. I did not expect to come back again.
So you thought this was your religious calling?
That was it. It was my call.
To fight jihad?
Yes.
And there you were, stuck, stopped?
Absolutely just stopped.
He decided to renounce Islam privately and to use his contacts to work in the intelligence world.
I mean, that in itself is quite a radical thing to do.
Yes, but I think my life have always been radical. So I always lived in the extreme edges of life, and I knew I can do a difference. And I knew the only ones to be close to these people were people like me.
For Western intelligence, his contact list was priceless. He got to know the British shoe bomber Richard Reed, 9/11 accomplice Zakaris Moussaoui, Abdul Majid, the man who recently became Britain's first suicide bomber in Syria, and the Yemeni-based American cleric Anwar Awlaki, dubbed the Bin Laden of the internet. Awlaki played key roles in the terrorist attack at the American Fort Hood military base and 2 plots designed to bring down passenger planes. His extremist lectures and bomb-making instructions posted online were proving popular with jihadis worldwide. Morten Storm was his friend and willing to help the West. He started by finding Awlaki an English-speaking wife.
Assalamu alaikum, brother, it's me, Amina, and I just want to tell you that right now I feel nervous and...
This is the woman he found, and this is the private encrypted video she sent to al-Awlaki.
Brother, this is me without a headscarf. So
She travelled to Yemen and married al-Awlaki, who was delighted. Her suitcase was bugged so al-Awlaki could be traced. But arriving in Yemen, she was told to leave all her luggage behind, so the American plan failed.
The Americans for a few years, they were angry with it for a lot of them with the way that we were, the methodology of working with this mission. And they didn't want to talk to me for 6 months.
Al-Awlaki was killed by a drone strike in 2011, and though the suitcase bug plan failed, Storm says it was his other work which traced al-Awlaki, and the CIA owe him a big success fee they promised.
Do you think the Americans still owe you $5 million?
Yes, of course they do.
Why is that?
Obviously, I have done a work for them, and I carried out a mission that led them to the world's most wanted terrorist.
Storm claims he even secretly recorded his CIA handler in an effort for recognition.
We had our team, we had our whole project going forward, of which you played the highest role. I'm talking about President of the United States. Okay, no, so
6 months after al-Awlaki was killed, Storm was back in Yemen undercover, trying to find other terrorists linked to al-Qaeda. But this time he claims the CIA were willing to see him die. He says he was warned off by another agent.
I'm working for the CIA, but they are going to kill you. They are planning to kill you once you sit with a terrorist, so the whole world will think that you are a terrorist. We like to believe we're the good ones. And once you discover the other side of it, you get so deeply disappointed.
The CIA declined to comment. We can't independently verify Storm's story, but there is supporting material. He says he's now in hiding in fear for his life.